right, hey everybody, I'm here with Trey Gibson, CEO of SPOTIO. Now, Trey, in case people were like living on Mars for the last 10 years in the door-to-door space, why don't you quickly tell everybody what SPOTIO is and your business model and everything we need to know.
Absolutely. So SPOTIO is a field sales engagement platform. It's a fancy way of saying we're a system of action for sales reps out in the field. So everything from where should I go knock, logging activity, follow-ups, basically everything from A to Z when it comes to executing a door-to-door sales process.
Okay. And in this space, obviously we deal with competitors and everybody wants to have their own version of everything,
sure.
Right? When you look at SPOTIO in the space of this field canvassing app, what would you say are the 2 or 3 most valuable pieces of the software that maybe you outdo your competitors on?
Yeah, so I think back, this is our 10th year of doing SPOTIO. It's hard to believe a decade of my life dedicated to this. I come from a door-to-door background, so I know this. I'm not a tech guy solving a door-to-door problem. I'm a door-to-door guy solving a door-to-door problem with tech, right? And so back in the day, we would knock on it.
So you as paper? Did you use paper?
Oh yeah, street sheets, of course, yeah. Street sheets, you would knock the door once. If they didn't buy, you'd move on to the next one. And that worked for a while. And now where the industry is at is, it's about follow-up. It's about executing a sales process, right? They're probably not going to buy the first time I knock on the door. So the forward-thinking companies are understanding, how do I use data? How do I create a database, a system to follow up with customers? And SPOTIO helps facilitate that. We have texting, calling, emails that can be done automatically or manually on behalf of the sales rep. And so that's just one of the kind of key ways that we facilitate that, expanding the customer relationship. And then also it's the amount of data that SPOTIO can hold. You know, we have some customers with millions of data points in SPOTIO. You think about it, you got 1,000 or 2,000 sales reps out there banging doors every day. The amount of data compiles very, very fast. And smart companies want to use that data to make data-driven decisions.
Right.
What territories are the best? What markets should I go back to? What type of houses are the best ones for us right now? And we help them use data to make those decisions.
Yeah, I'm glad we transitioned to data. I think everybody who's listening to this podcast probably has a pretty good idea of what SPOTIO does. Actually, before I dive into the data, I made a comment earlier, I think I was backstage with you about, right, I feel like in the door-to-door space, it was like the cell phone space 20 years ago, 15 years ago, where you had Verizon or you had AT&T and you always hated your provider, right? It's because they were figuring things out and they were learning. So you had customers maybe 5 years ago when SPOTIO was new that maybe didn't have the best experience, and now your experience is world-class. How do you win the hearts and minds of those people to come back and take a look at you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think first and foremost, it's just being transparent. You know, the product was much different 5 years ago. We've invested millions of dollars in R&D since then. So it could be as simple as just recognizing that, yes, what you experienced then was a challenge that we were having, and here's what we've done to improve it since then. Can we show you how we've done that, right? And just walk them through it, and just being transparent and real about maybe we're still not a good fit for them, who knows? But if we are, we want to be upfront, honest with them, show you what we have now, and give it a whirl.
At least you're in an industry where they don't hold grudges, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Once you affect the sale in the door-to-door space, it's like they're dead to you, right? So I hope people listening.
And not the most patient group.
No, like I want the change now. So I've never been that kind of guy ever.
Sure,
so,
no, definitely not.
So let's get back into the data. So that's the big argument, and everybody always wants the data and how to use the data and who gets control of it, who owns the data. How does SPOTIO put that data on the fingertips of their clients so they can, where they can use that to go create more sales? You mentioned email and texting and those kind of things. Is there systems that help set those up? Is there templates that are used? Is there training? How does that work?
Yeah, so we'd have templates for emails, templates for text, but I'll go back to just the core basics of one piece of data that SPOTIO has that I think is super impactful. And it's the ability to see the days since last knock, or how many knocks I've had. So imagine being able to pull up a neighborhood and I can quickly see how many times have I been through that neighborhood. Our data shows that you have to knock let's say it's a 500 house neighborhood, you have to go through 4 times in order to make contact with 75% of those people.
Okay, so four knocks to get 75% contact of a 500.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course you want to do that, right? Because after I've done installed or worked with one customer or one neighbor, it's much easier to get more. But most people don't go back and knock because they don't remember who said yes, who said no. So SPOTIO, you log that. Imagine being able to pull up that area and quickly see, oh, it's been 3 weeks since I've been back through there, and I've only knocked these doors twice. There's a lot of meat left on that bone. So as a sales manager or even a sales rep, right, I can make sure we're getting all we can out of each and individual territory. So that's just one easy way that you can use our data today in order to make better decisions.
Yeah, I've never heard that stat because, area management or hood management, some people call it, is a big deal because you put a rookie in the neighborhood and they go, I hit every house, there's no sales in here, and then the vet goes in behind him and cleans up, right?
Absolutely. I remember talking with Sam about cleaning up an area. He was working in West Texas where I went to college, and we were talking about, re-knocking, and he would always go back through the new reps area and said, I would get more sales out of re-knocking their area than a brand new one. And that's right. It's like, that's where you want to go work. It's because you already have familiarity. They already kind of know who you are. And so you got to go and you got to pound it.
Quick story on re-knocking, right? I knocked doors very late in my career as I transitioned into the space. And I remember the first sale I ever made, after a few doors, I realized I was knocking behind the rookie of the year. And so, right, so this guy was slaying everything. They kept on dropping his name. So I walk up to this house, the guy's watering his lawn, and I said, hey, how you doing? This, that, the other thing. Somebody was already through here. You probably talked to this gentleman. He's like, oh yeah, I talked to the gentleman. Curious, a lot of your neighbors got it. How come you didn't? He's like, well, it was like 8:30 at night, and my wife and I wanted to go to bed. I told him I want to do it tomorrow. He said no, we need to do it now, and he never came back. And so I'm like, well, I'm free right now. Can you do it now? And he's like, yeah, can you come back after lunch? And that was my first sale,
nice.
re-knocking behind a stud, right? So what about, do you have the data on when you speak to a customer, right? How many times you need to speak to somebody on the doors before a sale is made, or before, do you have that info, or?
That's different, going to be different for each company and actually each rep. Like your rookie of the year, he's probably, he talks to 5 people, he might get 4 sales. Whereas, someone that's just starting out goes out, it might take 15 people that he talks to get a sale. So that is unique to not only a company, but also the sales rep. But inside SPOTIO, you can track that. And so you can understand, okay, conversion rates. What is rookie of the year doing that's different than everybody else? And start to understand, chances are they're knocking more doors, so they're putting in more effort, but they're also getting more out of each contact that they get. And so that's a lot where the art and science of kind of selling come in. The science is the numbers, the conversion rates, the math. The art is the tonality, what you're saying, and those type of things. So it's a combination of those two that go into making a top rep.
Okay, so going back to the data, one of the challenges I had when I was running a company is I was looking to change knocking apps. And my top people were like, I'm not changing. All my data is here.
Yeah.
Right? And so I don't know if that's a problem of the old, or in today's world, if somebody came to you that was using a competitor and said, hey, I want to move over to SPOTIO, but I have all my history with XYZ company, is there a solution for that yet?
I mean, for the most part, everything's exportable. Whether it's competitor or any CRM, any database, you can export it to Excel and load it back in. And so you're not going to get everything, right? You're not going to get all the nuances of dates and times and maybe the history of activity, but you can get the core, who's my customer, and the statuses and stuff like that. Yeah.
So I ran my first sales team with a pager.
Nice.
Yes, and so the whole the tech world has evolved in front of my eyes. And nowadays we have these smartphones that we can fly a drone in 3,000 miles away with our smartphone sitting right here with good Wi-Fi. And so there's always these features in apps and technology that people don't use. So when you look at your product, what would you think is like the 1 or 2 features that are really, really dope that people don't maybe use as much as they should?
Oh, that's a great question. We have a lot of features. I think the one that I would use more if I was a door-to-door sales rep is our feature called autoplays. And so imagine I knock on a door, just like your Rookie of the Year did, and the guy says, not now, come back later. Well, I can gather his information and then add it to an autoplay, which is essentially an automated drip campaign of emails, of text messages, whatever, that are dripping information. It could be a special that I have going on. It could just be, hey, touching base to see how things are, whatever it is. It can be a one-day drip. It could be a one-year drip. And so imagine just that communication automatically going on with your prospects while you're busy doing other things.
So is that something that a company would set up for their sales reps, or is it something that sales reps can set up on their own?
Yeah, they would. The company would set up the autoplay, and then the rep can add their homeowners to it.
Yeah. And the auto, because I'm thinking as a rep now, I'm like, I don't want my company sending drip campaigns to my leads, right? Is this coming when the customer responds?
Yes.
Is it coming through their own portal?
Even better. Yeah, exactly. And that's the power of it. Is it's not a marketing at SPOTIO.com blasting out emails. It comes from me. It comes from Trey at SPOTIO.com emails going out. So when it replies, it comes back to me. You know, you can, when you have the opportunity to get a SPOTIO phone number when you sign up, and so those text messages come out of the SPOTIO phone number and reply back. All that history is logged inside of the lead.
If the customer calls that number, does your phone ring?
Yeah. Yeah.
So sweet.
Yeah,
okay.
And it's all logged there historically, dates, times, notes, conversations, all recorded right there inside that.
Now, I'm thinking as a sales manager right now, it's like, I don't want my rookie to know that, because every like come back later, they would like drop into a drip campaign and not close the sale. But you know, just before I came here, I was meeting with a marketing company to talk about these drip campaigns that we run as a company at Door-to-Door Experts, and how important the capturing that lead that lead is, right? You already spent the money to get the lead. I know what our acquisition costs are. How do we put campaigns in place to lower that acquisition cost? This is sweat labor for reps, right? Reps put all this sweat labor in to get somebody to open the door, to get somebody to not shut the door, to engage with them. Truly may have a come back when my husband's back in town reason. They may be leaving the neighborhood, right, because they've knocked it out, right? But this puts them in place, and that drip campaign could be as simple as, hey, if you thought about it or interested, shoot me a text and I'll swing back by.
So easy, yeah, basic stuff that it's just not being done. And of course, as a door-to-door salesperson, we want to get the sell right then. We're there, we're talking, let's get it done. Fact of the matter is, it doesn't happen all of the time. If you got a 30% close rate, 35, that means, 7 out of 10 people you talk to are not buying right then. What are you doing to convert those back over to sales? And if you can do it automatically, that's going to provide a ton of revenue to your bottom line.
That's great. All right, that's a fantastic tool. I guarantee most reps don't read past how to enter a name, and they're not reading the manual on how to use your software.
Yeah.
Is there any other feature that stands out?
Let's see. We have, one of the easy ones to do that you knock on a door and they're not ready right now. I can send a digital business card. So I could send over, great, what's your cell phone number? Here's how I would do it. Do you mind if I send you some information?
Yeah, I want you off my doorstep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, great. What's your cell phone number, and I'll send you over my business card in case you change your mind. I already got your cell phone number. I send you back my card, and now when you open it, it notifies me, right? So if you ever go back to click that card again, I get notified, and then I can also now add you to other drip campaigns.
So when they open it, you see that they open it.
Yeah, I get a push notification saying.
Okay, so I'm going to go put my owner hat on here, and as you know, there's a high turnover rate in door-to-door, right? And it really depends on how well your training and onboarding is. Depends that turnover. But I've invested my monthly cost for this rep for 6 or 7 or 8 months. They've entered all the data. I've built their drip campaign. They're putting the information in, and then that rep leaves the industry or leaves me for maybe one of my competitors. Who owns that phone number to that SPOTIO account? Very good question, and that's why we have the ability to provision a phone number. You get a SPOTIO phone number. Right. And so we integrate with Twilio, which is like the largest provider of this. So you get a phone number, the company owns it. It's your phone number inside SPOTIO. So if you as the rep leave,
I remove you from that phone number, I give it to the next guy who's going to take over for you, and all that customer communication now goes to you. So you own that.
Or you can own it as a company.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, fantastic. Anything else you want people to know about SPOTIO?
No, I think, we've been doing this for 10 years now. We're very passionate about this industry and want to thank all of our customers for supporting us for these 10 years. And if you haven't checked us out in a while, make sure and give us a look. We invest millions of dollars in research and development each year, pushing the limits on innovation for this space. So come check us out.
Yeah, and I'll just add, and I'm going to shout out one of our platinum sponsors is Ciro. Have you worked with Ciro at all?
Yeah.
So I saw Joe last night at our VIP event. The last time I saw Joe is when he came to my office at Vivint Smart Home, where I ran recruiting and training.
Yeah.
And he sat down and showed me this version of Ciro 5 years ago. And I remember looking at him, giving him my feedback, giving him my thoughts, telling him why Vivint wouldn't be interested right now, and to see how that product has changed over those 5 years.
Yeah.
So anybody who's used SPOTIO or checked out SPOTIO in the past, I encourage everybody to go back and take a look at it to see if the new and improved features are something you would use as your business.
Absolutely.
All right, hey, thanks for coming in, Trey.
Absolutely, JB. Thank you so much.